Hey, everybody. I'm going to play a tune, and then I'll say hello. Hey, hi, how's it going? I'm going to turn that off. So let me give you a nice big look of me. Hi, this is Blake Angelos from Yamaha here with the YC Series stage keyboard. Welcome. This is part of the fifth annual Kraft Music. Look at this shirt. I'm going to stand up. Hold on. The Kraft Music Synths of Summer event, fifth annual. Look at how cool this shirt is. I mean, would you like one of these shirts? I'll bet you do. You know, check out the details in the comments to find out how you can get one of these awesome shirts. And it matches my purple Yamaha hat. Is this not cool? You can actually check out all the cool bundles that Kraft has to offer. And best of all, you can find out how you can enter to win a YC Series YC61, that is, stage keyboard. There's a drawing that's happening on the 16th. Check the comments to find out more about that. That is super cool. So I have to say this. you know how cool this is? I love the people at Kraft Music for stuff like this. Cool T-shirts, a free keyboard, an option, or an opportunity to win a free keyboard in a drawing. Is that not cool? I have to say I've been out here so many times. You've seen my videos that I've done at Kraft. The staff here is the best. They are experienced professionals that really know the gear, and it's always a pleasure to work for them. And I'm just really happy to be here on Kraft Music's Facebook page with you guys today to talk about this cool YC series stage keyboard. So let's take a closer look at this awesome YC keyboard. I'm going to give you a nice image of the three models that we have right here. So basically, these instruments, I just played the YC88, if you were wondering, and we're going to dig into that in just a minute. But basically, these are versatile stage keyboard instruments that sound keyboard instruments. Let me say that correctly. Keyboard instruments that sound great, they feel great, and they have a really great one-to-one interface design. Speaking of design, this one-to-one interface means that you have access to the most important features on the gig, so you're not digging around in a menu to find something. They're right on the front panel. It makes it very, very easy, very, very awesome to have on the stage to keep you focused on the music and not diving into menus to find things. That's a great thing about this particular instrument that I love so much. In fact, I just played a gig the other day with this instrument, and man, was it awesome to have it. So the YC series comes in these three models. Right up there, I guess I'm pointing that way. Yes, that's the YC61. So that's the organ-focused waterfall action key version of the YC61. Waterfall action meaning the organ-style action that doesn't have a key top that goes over the top that makes it very easy to do things like palm smears, organ slides, glissando, things that organists really love. And organists really love the feel of this action, and they will really love the fact that unlike a lot of vintage drawbar organs, that instrument right up there weighs 15 pounds. That's pretty awesome. And it is always amazing picking it up because it's so solidly built. And I'll talk about that in a second. But that's the YC61. So over in this direction, that way, is the YC73. So that's designed for gigging keyboardists wanting a weighted balanced hammer action, but they want a key bed with 73 keys and that has that nice action, but it weighs, just under 30 pounds, actually. So it's very lightweight. So a weighted action, 73-note keyboard that weighs 29 pounds, about 29 pounds, 9 ounces or something like that. Great for a gigging keyboardist. And finally, the one that I just played right that way, is the YC88. Now, the YC88 has a natural wood graded hammer action with synthetic ebony and ivory keytops. Pianists will love playing this instrument. I know I do. The action also features the GH3 triple sensor action. That means that you can restrike the note before it comes off of the bottom of the keystroke. That makes it very, very, very great and pianistic. That's how a grand piano feels. Sorry, I'm getting my grand piano setup here so you can hear me when I start playing this in a moment. The YC88 also, it weighs a little bit more, but it's only 41 pounds. So at an 88-note weighted action keyboard that weighs 41 pounds, that's pretty awesome. So there they are. It's this way. The YC series keyboards right there. So cool. So here's my overhead shot of everything that you saw here before. So let's get into this instrument a bit. Well, the first thing I just want to point out is all of these instruments, all three, 73, 61, 88, all have this great aluminum alloy chassis. So they're very, very solidly built, but they're very lightweight. That's the one thing that is very cool about it. The YC73 and the YC88, well, they both have balanced XLR outputs and quarter-inch outputs and a quarter-inch stereo aux input, which is very cool. If you have two keyboards, you can take one of the keyboards, put it into the input on the YC88 and control the volume and send both signals to a mixing console. It makes for a cleaner setup when you're playing live. Love that about this instrument, is having that aux quarter-inch inputs. So outside of the action and the size and the XLR outputs on the two bigger models, they are exactly the same internally. The YC series also features a USB audio and MIDI interface that you can record to a computer or an iOS device with a single USB cable. You can record audio and MIDI simultaneously. You can play virtual instruments and monitor those virtual instruments. And if I have time today, I will open up Cubase and I will show you this, depending on where we're at with time. But it is a very cool thing. So how about we, well, I want to talk, before I start playing here, about the last thing is the versatility of this instrument. A lot of the reason why it's so versatile, because we have things like the CP series. That's a very focused instrument, piano focused. It's got all of our premium pianos and a huge range of pianos, but it's very piano focused. The YC series is a little different in that regard. It's more of a versatile instrument because you have this organ section right here, for example. You also have three different tone generation technologies. You have AWM2. That's our proprietary sampling technology. So pianos, electric pianos, strings, brass sections, guitars, basses, that kind of stuff are all being generated by that AWM2 engine. You have VCM, virtual circuitry modeling. Now, we have used this technology in the past for lots of cool effects. Virtual circuitry modeling means that they model these old effect boxes, these classic effect boxes, at the actual component level. So traditionally, that's what that technology was used for. But we have now released a tone generation technology that's based on VCM, and that is what we use for the drawbar, the vintage drawbar organ sounds, the H1, H2, and H3. I played that in the tune that I started out front. That very first sound was one of those sounds. The rotary speaker simulation is also VCM, and then there's like stomp box effects that have been, again, used before with VCM. Well, they're in this instrument too. Phasers, flangers, compressors, and things like that. So VCM. So AWM2, VCM. The third one is FM. We have an 8-operator FM synthesizer in this instrument. It is being used for 3 of the organs, the F1, F2, F3. F1 is a very nice sine wave-based organ that I'll play as we go through here that I just really love. It sounds great through the rotary speaker. And then the other two, F2 and F3, are recreations of these classic electric combo organs of the 60s. FM is really good at recreating those types of sounds, and I'll play a couple of those as well. There's also FM in the keys section right here for things like that classic DX style electric piano that everybody loves. There's a few of those in here. There's also cool pads. There's cool leads. In fact, the lead sound that I used in that tune, one of those sounds was an FM lead that I had with an AWM2 lead that is more of an analog synth, and I kind of combined them together to make a really cool monophonic lead sound with portamento. Another thing that makes this very cool, very versatile, is that it has features like that, monophonic lead sounds and things like that, and then the FM synthesis is, of course, versatile. That's the whole point of this instrument. Versatile. It's a versatile instrument. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's play. So I'm just going to go through pianos, electric pianos, and organs first, because that's kind of what I think most people really buy something like this for. They want great pianos, they want great organs, they want great electric pianos. And I will also, as we move forward here, I'll play some of the other sounds in this instrument as well that really highlight its versatility, because there's some great other sounds in here. String sections, brass sections, synth pads, guitars, basses. There's tons of great sounds, and then, of course, amazing effects. But check it out. First thing I want to do is play some of the piano. So this is the CFX. So the CFX is our big, beautiful 9-foot concert grand. It's just a gorgeous piano to play. I use this primarily for virtually everything. Now, I do use some of the other pianos for different types of music, but I find the CFX to be so beautiful because it's a very balanced sound. It has the benefit of having a very strong fundamental, meaning that the note that you play really sounds out. It carries. In fact, that's what they say about the CFX, is that it has the ability to play loud enough, if you want it to project over a symphony orchestra acoustically. Now, that doesn't mean that it's strident or anything. It just has this strong fundamental, and you just hear it better. But it also has the ability to play very soft and beautiful passages. Just a beautiful 9-foot concert grand. Now, I just changed sounds, and you notice I didn't cut off the previous sound. That's because this instrument has seamless sound switching. So when you move from one sound to another sound, it doesn't cut off the previous sound. And so now we're on to a different piano, and you can hear the difference right there. This is a C7. Now, the C7 is a 7-foot 6-inch. It's a smaller grand piano, but I think it's arguably, in fact, it might be true, think it's true. It's the most recorded piano in the history of recorded music. The C7 is just a great instrument for recording. It has a similar quality to that CFX in the strong fundamental. There's something I really dig about this particular C7 is that when you play the soft level, like I'm playing here now, it has this gorgeous quality to it. But if I decide I want to get a little, louder, it has a really nice cut to it. C7 is a brighter piano, so it's great for things like gospel. That kind of stuff, it really cuts. But when you want to be soft, so really beautiful sound. Now you notice I have a DR right here. So there are 2 effects per voice in this key section. I have 2 key sections here. So that's what I've been playing in, just keys 1 so far. I'll get into this a little more as we play different sounds. But I have one of the effects on here. I could turn on a compressor if I needed it to give it a little bit fine control over the dynamics if I want to. You can hear what the compressor is doing. It's bringing it up a little bit. The soft thing is a little louder. The loud things become a little softer. But I can turn that on and off as I want to. I always have the damper pedal resonance effect. That gives you the sound of when you lift the dampers off, that you have this sympathetic vibration. But let me show you something else in one of the pianos I hear. I have one here that's called the S700. So the S700, this is a different piano I just changed to. This piano, totally different sounding piano as well. We released this piano in the S90 ES originally, and people just love the piano, so we brought it back. I really like how it records, for one thing. It's a nice sounding piano, but I want to show you some cool things you can do, again, with this one-to-one interface to get different sounds out of it, not just piano. And all I'm going to use is just the damper pedal resonance effect, and I'll use a reverse reverb too. So the first thing I do, right now, I have the damper pedal resonance with pretty even depth and rate, but if you turn that up a little bit, you can make this into this cool, interesting pad sound. Because the damper pedal resonance is bringing a lot of these resonances up to the top and giving it this cool synthetic sound. And it's even cooler if you have 2 of them. Hear how it rings out like that? So I just added the second one here too. And it activates when I hit that sustain pedal. So it's still there, giving kind of this interesting reverberant quality, but when I hit the damper pedal, it brings out that stuff. But then you turn on this a third effect. So you can assign this effect right here to anywhere you want it, organ, key A or key B. Well, right now, I'm putting it to keys A here. Check this out. I love that. That's just... So if you're into doing any ambient kind of stuff, electronica stuff, I hate that word electronica. How about just ambient electronic landscapes? Isn't that cool? Again, that's taking a piano with this one-to-one interface and the effects that are in here. This is part of that versatility I'm talking about. Now I'm going to play a few more pianos here before we move on. There's this one's the Nashville C3. I have a compressor on this one, so it's a little louder. This is a C3. This is a smaller piano, 6'1" or 6'3". I can't remember how big the soundboard. But this was recorded in Nashville. So this was recorded using a tape, actual analog tape that it was recorded to process it. So it has this nice warm sound to it, but it's also, what's the best word for this? It has a played in sound. It has character, which means that the piano tuner may not have gotten there, but that's part of its charm. Plus, I love doing stuff like this. I have an FC7 down here, right? Especially for the organ and things like that. But when I just added a guitar to it, but with the guitar, let me move my feet around here so I can bring in the guitar. I can slowly bring in the guitar. The organ is also responding to the expression. The piano isn't. The guitar is, the organ is, but not the piano. So it can start like this. That's why it's called sanctified. Things like that you can do. Bring in sounds just at the flip of a switch, and then you can adjust how they're being controlled. So if I don't want it to respond to, the sustain pedal or to the expression pedal, I can control that right inside this settings area. It's really easy to do. I'll show you that later. But I want to still play some sounds for you because that is probably why most of you are here. Here's the live CF3. I should also point out that these two pianos were added in OS version 1.1. One of the cool things about this instrument is that we have semi-regular OS updates, like once every 8 months, something like that, depending on our time frame and things like that. But when we release these updates, it not only does little things to the OS. We add sounds. We just added that Nashville Grand. We added this live CF3. Live CF3 comes from our CP300. It's one of those sounds that a lot of, especially people in worship, really come to love this sound because it's a nice bright sound. It really, just a nice piano. And it has a totally different sound than the other pianos. Well, we heard our customers, so we added that with the OS 1.1 update. We also added a couple of time pianos in that update, but we also add new features, things like that. So there are more updates coming. So that's one thing that is cool about this instrument. When you buy it, it will grow. We will add new things. So just to let you know, this live CF3 came from that. There's also a couple of other pianos in here before I move on. So this is piano and strings, but check this out. I'm going to turn on piano and synth. So there's two of these piano strings, piano synth that are one sound, but they're already layered. So you can add different layers if you want. But I was messing with this the other day, and I dropped the octave on this. This is like if you need a massive kind of cinematic piano. That's a cool sound. Again, just turning on a section to do that. Last thing I'll play, because we're just talking on a podcast with my colleague Nate about one of the first things I ever owned was a CP70. This is a CP80, but basic. The Electrogran from the 70s. This one is with the brilliance control all the way down. CP70s and 80s had a brilliance control, and you could turn it all the way down. This is kind of it with it down. It sounds great with a chorus. I just turn on the chorus there. I'm running it through a compressor, but now I have this so I can do this. It has that deafening 80s kind of sound. Well, right next to it, I just turned the other one off. I have the CP82. Now this one is with the brilliance control up. With tremolo on. CP80 had a tremolo on it. Tell with that low end. That's the sound of that Electrogran. Great for 80s music, 70s music. Anyway, we had that in there. Had to show that as well. Let's move on to some of the time pianos. So this is the 78 RD. This one's kind of the standard. It's a brighter, kind of more modern. Great. Expressiveness to this. It's super bright. It sounds great with a. I have this one with. that's kind of loud. So I have a touch wah effect on this one. There are 32 effects in either of these two areas, 32 in this one, that you can choose from, and they're a pretty wide range of cool effects. One of them is this great touch wah. Now you can adjust instantly if it's a little bit too peaky. Again, I'm not going into a menu. You see, I'm doing this all from the front panel. So I'll turn this down maybe a little bit here. Maybe not as much resonance. That's in that rate there. That's a cool sound. Next to that, 75 RD Funky. So this one has some serious bark in the low end. So let's see. Hear that thing? Growly. Great for funk, great for R&B. This one, I have a pedal bar on this one. So I have two FC7s plugged into this. One FC7 is for the volume control. That's in FC7-1. FC7-2, though, I can assign that to where I want, but right now I have it assigned to, we have the touch wah effect. That's me with my foot pedal. I can move my knee up, sorry. Cool. The wah effects are just awesome, and they are VCM effects. So another effect right there. All right. Which one do I use the most? I probably use this one the most. This is the I mean, they're all so different. That's what I love about this instrument, is that when you get the electric pianos, there's so many of them in here, and they really have very different uses. I like using this one probably the most, but I find I use the other ones depending on the room I'm in, depending on the music I'm in, but I love the fact that they are pretty different. So, but this one, just has a nice kind of quality to it that I really dig. Notice that I have here, I don't have the speaker amp on right here. Now this is where usually I'll use this mostly for the rotary speaker effect, but I'm going to turn it on because I want you to hear this. I'm going to turn down the volume. Let me make sure the rate's on that. A little bit loud, because what's going to happen here is I'm going to turn on this effect right here. And it's hard to see from, if you can't see it, but it says case. So you have rotary speaker A, rotary speaker B, so different types of rotary speakers. I'll talk about those in a second. You have lead, crunch, double, and case. These are amp simulators. Lead and double and crunch are like guitar amp simulators that you can route certain things through, and you route it right here with speaker amp. I've set it to keys A. I'm on keys A. That's what it's going through. But case is actually a recreation of the preamp and speaker system of a vintage electric piano. So it really does. So check out when I turn it off. Right? Okay, now I'm going to turn it back on. You hear it already. I heard it right there when it kicked in. It brings in this low and this chunk. Off. Oh, sorry. On. Now, right now, I have tone and drive down all the way, but if you turn up the drive, turn up the tone, you can make it really cutting. But I like turning, the drive kind of a little bit up, maybe, tone down, but I use this all the time. Because it gives just a little bit of saturation, just a little bit of overdrive that just enhances the sound, makes it sound more authentic. So there you go. That's the 73 RD. There are a couple of other ones. There's the 67 RD. This is we added in a previous update, I don't know which one it was. It was the first update that we had for it when we released the instrument. And this one is actually I believe this was like a pristine first generation Tyne electric piano. And there's two types. There's a bright and and then there's a dark one. And I love it with the phaser. Here's a VCM phaser. Let's see what I had on the bright one here. This one is another phaser, another VCM stereo phaser. The other one was the Max 90 phaser. A little different phasers. So kind of this vintage first generation style Tyne piano. Again, I just switched the sound. This one was the one that was added in the latest update that had the Nashville Grand, the live CF3. Those are the two acoustic pianos, and then we added this one here. And this one is a super bell-like vintage Tyne. So if you go, I'll not play this exactly, but. Throw a phaser on that one too. You get the idea. So nice, great for 70s type music. Last vintage electric piano I think I'll play for you is the reed piano. There's a couple of them that I like. There's actually 3 of them. I just played you the warm one. This one's the wide one. I like this one quite a lot. So yeah. Cool, huh? So, is that, oh, I did have 2 more. This is one that you just gotta check out because it nails this. Why does this sound so good? Because it's real FM. This is an FM EP using actual 8-operator FM synthesis. And I have this cool 816 chorus effect that simulates the sound of the TX-816, which is 8 DX7s and a rack mount that you could detune each one. And then I have a compressor, I think, on this one as well. But and I'll show you some cool things. Again, it's not a super deep instrument, but it has some kind of cool editing things. Not kind of cool, they're really cool. I'm going to go into the settings here. You can see me doing this here. And I'll go down here to sound, and I'm going to go to key A settings. And I just want to show you there's a thing in here that's called FM Unison. So FM Unison kind of simulates that sound that you get out of some of our FM synthesizers that give you this cool doubling effect. So you can do 4 unison. And you hear it fattens it up right away by just turning that on. If I turn it off, I'll just turn it on again. You can hear it fatten up and widen out. But then you can do a couple of other things in here. You can detune it. Let me turn off the effects here so you're just hearing it. And you can also adjust the spread of those 4 unisons so it kind of gives this nice sort of wide. You turn on some effects to that. Now you've got just. Anyway, cool little things like that I really dig about this instrument is just, see, and I got right back to where I was at by just hitting the settings again. So I'm not going, you go into those menus, right? I went like this and I got in a little bit, not too bad, but keys A setting, FM unison mode. Now I'm in here. Well, I could just hit exit and back out, or I can just hit the settings and come right out of it. So even if you have to do edits, they're very easy to get to, and they're very quick to exit from. And there's not a lot in there, so you can't get really deeply lost. It's cool. It's just the perfect kind of balance of stuff. Oh, gotta play this. Just because. That VCM effect, the pedal wah, you got to have it on this clavy. Oh, that's awesome. So there's your electric pianos. Okay. Organs. So many things are cool about this organ section. Just look at it. It's awesome. There's your upper manual, right? Look at how the lower manual has different colors, right? Dig that? Okay, I'm going to move these ones up here. We'll go back to my upper manual. And there's another thing. You can sort of see it here. I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. You notice that there's this little translucent strip here. So they're physical drawbars, right? And I can set them to either catch or grab or whatever it is. But you know, when I grab one, it'll move right to the position that it's in. But if I'm moving from one to another that has different drawbar settings, if I go back here, I can still see where my settings are because of the LEDs, but I can also look underneath. There's this little translucent strip on the drawbars themselves that you can see through, and that's just such a great design. You can have 7 different color variations for your drawbars if you need to do that, so you can tell. And there's some other cool things about this. There's a very, very, very simple setup where you can literally plug another keyboard into this keyboard, just MIDI out from the other keyboard, into here, and then say, I want the lower manual to appear on the keyboard that I just MIDI'd in. It's a simple setup. You just say it, boom, and it'll just send the lower manual to the lower. So you can do a do manual thing. Or let's say you have a really cool, a weighted action controller that doesn't have any sound, or you have maybe a weighted action keyboard that you're kind of done with the piano sound. It's an older one, but you still like the action. Well, you can do the same thing where you MIDI it into this and say the keys A section, I'm going to play that great CFX on the keys A. So if you have something like if you have the YC61, it's an ideal instrument for a top keyboard. You can play the CF sound up there, but you still have access to the organ on the YC, but you can play the instrument from another keyboard as well, another section. It's slick. It's slick how it's simple, and they really thought a lot about a gigging musician on how to set it up. Anyway, I just want to point that out. So there's 3 different H models. H is the vintage drawbar. H1 with rotary speaker control and my So H1 would be like that perfect drawbar organ that has been meticulously maintained, the one that the studio owns, that doesn't smell weird, or whatever. You know, I've seen my share of vintage drawbar organs that have a various state of disrepair. So this isn't that one. This is the really nice one. Okay, next to it, I have this. So this one is a little bit more of a played-in one. You can hear there's a little bit more stuff in the sound. Now, my drawbar settings are a little different here. Let me show you some stuff that's cool about this in the settings again. I'm going to go into sound. I'm going to go into organ settings. Well, you have the things that you would expect in a vintage drawbar organ. I want to set more leakage. How about if I just crank it up? I need my vintage drawbar organ looked at. A lot of leakage, but I can pull that back. Well, if I'm there. So a little bit's kind of cool. It gives it that vibe, you know. But you can adjust leak level. You can adjust key click level. Right now I have virtually none. But if I add key click, hear that. Let me take off percussion. As opposed to no. Oh, I'm moving too fast here. As opposed to no key click. Now here's a lot of key click. So you can adjust those type of things as well. Percussion linked to 1 feet allows you to have that 1 foot drawbar, even though you have the percussion on. which you might want. Usually on the traditional vintage drawbars, when you turn on the organ percussion, it uses that 9th drawbar. Well, you can adjust that. You can either have that or not. Expression type is really cool too. Something that I point out all the time. I'm going to put my FC7 all the way to the bottom, but you'll notice, even though my FC7 is all the way down, I'm still getting sound from the vintage drawbar organ area here. That's how they work. And then you can swell it. And I love it. It's also drive, so it hits the preamp. So when you go, it has this to it. But let's say I want it to behave more like a traditional instrument. Well, if I have it set to volume, let me bring it all the way to the bottom, no sound. That's not like the real thing, but that is what some people might want sometimes. But it gives you the choice between the more authentic or the more utility or whatever you want to do on that. Just something to show you. I also want to show you some other things here. Since we are talking about organ, I have 2 different rotary speakers. You're going to hear the second one in a second. But right now, this is rotary A. Rotary A is like the basic rotary speaker. But you have control over that as well. So you can do things like set the difference between the level of the horn and the rotor. Now check this out. I use this all the time to dial in the sound that I want. I am not much of a big horn person on mine. But if I want to, I can bring that in. So I get more high energy or high frequency. That's what sounds coming out of the horn, right? Well, I like to draw this back a little bit. Maybe right around here. And I like to have a little bit more rotor. That's the lower frequency. Check it out. Now, if I pull this all the way back, it just kind of takes it all out. You hear that low frequency rolling in? So you can do some really some cool customizations to the rotary speaker in this instrument, which I definitely appreciate. I'm sure you do as well. Now, I'm going to turn off the background noise. That's what you're hearing there. There it is. But the background noise... Check it out. Here, I'm going to turn up the background noise. You have control over the level. I'll turn it way up. Check this out. So if you're not hip to what the rotary speaker does, rotary speaker physically moves, right? So there it is. As I speed it up, you hear it speed up, slow down. So that's what that rotary speaker noise does. It's a cool little thing to add in, and it adds a little bit of authenticity to the sound that I really like. I usually keep it right around 70, so it's there, but it's not like overwhelming. You can set the output to stereo or mono, and you can adjust the speed of the horn slow, rotor slow, horn fast, and so on, and acceleration on both horn and rotor, acceleration and deceleration. So that's pretty cool. You have a lot of control, a lot of things that you can tweak to get that organ sound that you want, not just the actual different models, the H1, H2, and I'm going to play H3 right now. But you have some ability to not only change the actual organ sound inside the menu setting here, or the settings in here. You can also adjust the rotary speaker sound. That's what I'm trying to say. H3. So what is H3? H3 is like a customized... Like it would be the organ of the multi-millionaire rock organist that has modified it, has a different kind of sound to it. And then I'm also running it through this rotary B. Rotary B is a larger rotary speaker that has a transistor preamp sitting in front of it. And I have a setting in here that I like to use for rock organ. So I have the drive all the way up. Tone I don't have all the way up, but I can make it so it cuts really well. I like the lower tone though. So it definitely has the ability to cover any of those, Deep Purple, Boston, all the bands that were Kansas, all the bands that had great rock organ. You can cover it with that sound, definitely. Okay, hey, let's move on to the F organs. F1. So this is all FM synthesis here. So you get 8 of these drawbars. It's 8 operators. So you don't have 9 operators, so you don't get the 9th drawbar, but you have. I really love, the thing I love about this is the low end. So that's the lower manual here. Let's see where you can set the split point, by the way, if you want. Right now it's set to C3. Check out that split point. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I want it. Let's put it at B. Just that fast to set the split point. Super easy to do. So I'm always amazed that that's FM. It still has this, because you're running it through the rotary speaker. I really like using the F1, especially. I don't generally use it for things that really require that serious drawbar kind of sound that has fold back and all the things that you expect in a vintage drawbar organ. But there's something about that sound that to me is just, it's enveloping, it's soulful. There's a lot of friends of mine that are gospel players that go to this one, and a lot of it's because of the low end. But it just has a great sound to it. So that's the F1 organ. Next to that, running it through a lead guitar amp. A lot of those combo organs this one's the F2 is more like the English style, but a lot of those bands didn't use rotary speakers for that. They ran it through a guitar amp or something. As opposed to the other one, the Molto Bella. This is the more Italian style. Sound. So 2 different types of electric combo organs right there in this instrument. Okay. Last thing I want to show you as far as the sounds go in this instrument is the other sounds. This one I call Spanish steel. And nice sound here, but I've been using this in a whole. I play the same kind of thing. Let me play something different this time. Okay, so I'm playing my little G waltz. Okay, now I'm going to turn on keys B here, and this actually uses a sine wave lead sound, but I didn't put it in lead mode because this will do monophonic mode, which is cool. But it's functioning in this case. Let me just turn off as a weird pad with the tremolo effect. But it sounds really cool with the... kind of has a Matheny-ish sort of sound. Now, check this out. I'm going to turn on the F1 organ I'm using, but in this case, I'm using it as a pad, and I turned on the sustain pedal on the organ. Generally, the sustain pedal isn't on the organ, but just a simple, I'm going to go down here to controllers, I'm going to go down here to receive switch, I'm going to go down here to sustain pedal, I'm going to go to organ, look, I have it on. So you can turn on and off things as needed, like we did with the expression pedal, where I'm bringing things in and out, and I don't want them to affect other parts. Well, in this case, I do want it to be, because now, check this out. As a pad sound, this is awesome. Rotary speaker thing at the end there. What a cool sound. You want that sound? Hey, if you buy one of these YC88s, you can connect to SoundMondo. Use the Google Chrome browser, because it has this thing called Web MIDI that allows you to just literally plug your USB output that you use for the audio into your computer, right? Plug it in, use Google Chrome, go to SoundMondo. You have to create an account there, and you'll create your account, and then you have access to 80,000 sounds total. Now on YC, maybe 3,000 sounds. I don't know how many YC sounds. There's a lot of YC sounds. That sound's up there. You can get it immediately. Just go up and find Spanish Steel. Look for my account. I'm just Blake Angelos on Sound Mondo, and find that sound, download it. It's yours. I'm not going to say any more about that, but that's cool, isn't it? It's a free social sound sharing site. There's also an iPhone, iOS app as well. I was going to grab it and put it up, but I'll do that later. Anyway, Spanish Steel. Spanish Steel. Okay, check this out. How about... So, horns, 2 French horn sections. But the thing about this... I'm not using anything except me, you know. I'm not using the expression is what I'm saying. I'm just using... This is such a expressive, great sound. Again, just showing the versatility of this instrument. This one right here. Just flute and a brass section, but it's the jazz flute, so it has that whoop, that overblow. And it's Sforzano brass, so it has that. That's a great sound. Just showing versatility. 2 string sections. Keys A is, you see where the octave is? You see, you have separate control over volume, tone for keys A and keys B. In fact, let me make the keys B a little different tone so you can see those 2 different. See that's changing there? Cool, right? Fast string, slow string, right? Now, another thing that's cool about this is we have single mode EG or filter control. So if I turn the EG down, I'm just controlling keys A when I'm doing that, right? So I just really changed with the single knob. I don't have to worry about attack, decay, sustain, and release. I'm on a gig, and I need to change the envelope. ADSR. Attack. What decay or sustain? Sorry, I forgot where I was in the tune. So what we did was we gave you one knob to do that quickly. So it will change multiple things, but generally you want more release or more attack for the most part. Obviously, you can tweak things on a synth a lot more, and we make synths for deep people that want to tweak stuff. We have Montage and Modi X that has multi-stage EGs and everything, but here, nope. I just want a little bit more release and a little bit less attack. One knob. That's cool. How about if I wanted a little brighter or dark? Single knob filter, too, so I don't have to worry about cutoff and resonance, right? Now I'll turn this back on so you can hear what I'm... There's something about these 2 octave. I have keys A is an octave lower than keys B that gives this majestic. All major chords. And then it went minor. So, another great sound in there. String sound. How about lead sound? How about 2 lead sounds? See, I have both mono right here. And there's also portamento. Now, these are both FM sounds in here. I'm going to turn one of them off here. You see how fast that is, too? It's a little cool switch. The switches are awesome on this. It's one of the things that people always kind of like. I love the switches on the Yamaha product. I hear them a lot because they are cool. But check this out. I also have, now, FM did not traditionally have filters, right? But I can have a resonant filter here. I have this filter here, right? But I also have an effect that gives me both resonance and cutoff frequency right there. Now, let's say I want to sweep the filter with this control, but I want to use a foot pedal. How do I do that? How about I show you how to do that? You go inside the settings here, and you go to controllers, okay? And you go to foot controller 2 in this case. That's what I want to do. And I'm going to assign foot controller 2 to something. Right now it's set to pedal wah, as you heard before, right? But I want to set it to this. How do I do that? Do I have to file through here and do it? Or do I just literally reach up and grab the thing that I want to assign to the foot pedal when I'm in this area here and move it? And guess what? It's been assigned to that. So now if I touch the settings and go back here, I grab my foot controller too, look what I'm doing with my foot pedal. Isn't that cool? It's cool. I think it's cool. Anyway, FM lead sound. You saw me do the stuff with the FM, the different unison mode and stuff, so I won't get into it with this one. You want some pads? This has pads for days, actually. And again, with this one, I have some of the effects off here, but if I want to have... So I'm controlling keys B there with the filter. So I have independent filter. I love this. Again, remember, I just switched sounds. I have a different pad here. This is a brighter pad. Darker pad it is. So there's lots of different choices for pads in the instrument as well. And I just have some cool, weird FM kind of sounds that I'm routing through the effects. This one has a harmonic enhancer, but the thing that's doing this is this cool, the lo-fi effect, kind of a bit crusher sort of effect. And one of them, and the other one has a little bit of hall reverb and the amplifier. That effect is really cool. If you need something that has some grunge, you can grunge things up pretty well with the effects in the instrument. Last thing I want to show you here, I think I'm just going to do this one last thing. This is what I love about the instrument. I discovered this actually initially on the CP series. You can do this on the CP series, but it's a little different how it works in this one. They're actually... I think I feel like I inspired our engineers to put this looper delay in here because I was doing it and I figured out that you could kind of do that with the CP series. But when you have something that has all these different sounds, you can do a lot more intricate looping and stuff, I find. And so I'll just show you this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and I'm just going to press. I have the H3 right here. And right now, there's none of the drawbars are active, but I have percussion on. So it gives you this little but I have the loop delay on. Now you hear I also have the reverb on, but the reverb comes after the delay, which is actually, I like that. If I wanted to have the reverb in the delay line, I would put the reverb as one of the effects. But let's move on and show. Something going there. I'll do keys B and I have this set up. I'm using a slicer effect on this so I can kind of do the stereo slicer effect. How about a kalimba? Can't you just hear Peter Gabriel or whatever? I'm not a good singer. But it has that Peter Gabriel sort of like. So, let's say I'm digging this, right? Turn it down a little bit. Now I want to play over the top of it. So I'm going to bring some drawbars down here. You know, maybe let's do that drawbar right here, and I'll give it maybe some high shooshies at the top. And if I want to play it, I just press the select button, and it pulls me on the delay line, so I can... Ooh, I don't like the vibrato. Put the chords on. to bring that into the delay. Sorry, wrong button. Now it's in there too. And if I move to another sound, I can add the delay to that if I want to. But let's get out of here. There we go. So it will retain the delay thing even if I select a different live set, so I can still play over that one time only. So it does, you can't do it like multiple, but it's a cool thing to be able to have that flexibility to do just some cool stuff. Again, it just highlights the versatility of this instrument. It's great for live gigs, definitely, but I gotta say, there's a lot of creative things you can do with it. I ran out of time. I figured I would, but I definitely, we have some stuff on our YouTube channel on Yamaha Synths that you can, Yamaha Synths on YouTube, right? And you can see some stuff that we've done with DAW and connecting this and controlling virtual instruments and recording with it. It's just really, it's one of my favorite products that we've ever released, this YC series. YC88, YC73, and YC61. And don't forget, read the comments in there so you can figure out if you want to have your chance to win a YC61. Enter into the drawing and definitely read how you can get one of these shirts because this shirt is awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this live stream here on Kraft Music's Facebook channel. Once again, I'm Blake Angelos from Yamaha. Thank you so much for watching and have a great evening wherever you may be in the world. Take care. Bye. Take care. Bye.